Cheap Card Gamer is brought to you by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's completely free. They have included all the creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor does the work of distributing your podcast for you so that it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much every podcasting service out there. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
How good does a game have to be worth 5 cents? If you're investing 5 cents, a nickel, in a game, how much fun do you need to have with that game for it to be worth the 5-cent investment? I'm going to tell you about a game today by the name of Super Battle Cards. And I'm going to give you my review of this game. And I'm going to tell you why it's not even worth 5 cents. I should mention that it is on sale right now in the Nintendo Switch eShop for 5 cents. It will be on sale until June 8th, 2020, at which time it will go back to its normal price of $5.99, which is laughable to me. But back to the question. How good does a game have to be worth 5 cents? Now, when I ask that, it's important to remember there are some free-to-play games you could download for absolutely free, 0 cents, that you can have a lot of fun with. I've had a lot of fun with Eternal. I've had a lot of fun with Warhammer Champions and Lightseekers lately. So there are good card games that are free to download on the Switch that you can have fun with. So how good should a game be for you to pay 5 cents on it? And you would think that that bar for entry is pretty low. You know, people use the term shovelware to describe quickly made, not very good games that are typically sold at bargain prices. I want to share with you this dream I have, or what dream is too fancy of a word. I wish that I could find a cheaply sold game at a bargain price, but that is actually really fun. And every time I find a sale on some kind of shovelware title, as most people would call them, I think, yeah, but what if it's actually really good? And then I'll look at the screenshots, and then I'll see if there's any videos to watch about the game. And then I kind of start talking myself into it like, man, 5 cents, it's got to be worth 5 cents. Is even a mediocre card game worth 5 cents? I'll tell you my thoughts about Super Battle Cards after the break. All right, guys, Super Battle Cards, first of all, let me tell you, it's not even a card game. Let's just start with that. It's a puzzle game. I haven't seen even one card. Your main character's avatar in the game looks vaguely like a card that features a Viking character. So when I saw that, I thought, okay, I'm playing as a Viking, and probably there's something I can do to unlock other characters and play as an elf or a wizard or whatever. Nope. I have been unable to find any other playable characters. Now, I don't know if there's some, crazy score you have to get to unlock them. Honestly, I haven't done that because I played the game enough to see that it's just not even, that's not going to save the game. I'll put it this way. Super Battle Cards is so, I can't think of any reason that they should name the game Super Battle Cards other than the dubious explanation that the publisher is trying to trick people who like card games into buying this game because there's not a huge plethora of card games out there for people to buy. Which, if that's the case, is extremely shady. And so I'm going to call you out. Baltoro Games is the publisher here. Why did you name this Super Battle Cards? Why did you put this game out there as Super Battle Cards and not Super Battle Puzzler or something like that? There's no cards interaction in this game. I suppose I should talk about the game. So what is the game? You have on the screen a board set up of, I think it's maybe 4x3 grid or 3x3 grid, something like that. You move a character around, so your character is on like a rectangular shape. I guess that's what they're considering a card. And you move that character around the grid, collecting whatever tile you cross into. So if I move left, whatever square is to the left of me, whatever's in that square is the item I get. Or if it's an enemy, then I fight that enemy. And they'll have a certain amount of strength, and I have a certain amount of strength, and we'll do battle. And if my strength is higher, then I win, and I get to move again. If their strength is higher, then you lose, and you're an idiot because you clicked on an enemy whose number was higher than yours without moving somewhere else instead. Anyway, that's pretty much it. You move your character around collecting items. There'll be potions that restore your health. There'll be little like arrows and bombs and things that will deal damage to enemies. There'll be shields that will give your character extra armor so that they can endure extra hits. I promise you, however entertaining you think that might sound, it's just, after playing for a few minutes, you just kind of get the gist of it, and it's just not great. Don't get me wrong, I love good puzzle games, but this is not giving you anything that a free game that you can find online doesn't give you, or games that were made in the 80s have this much. I mean, there's nothing here. Just to illustrate, your score is saved. I will say that. We got high scores. So like I say, we're going back to the 1980s, guys. We are up to date with 30 years ago in the gaming world. You can save your high score. But other than that, there's no multiplayer. There's no online leaderboard. There's no achievements, no unlockables. There's literally nothing to do. There's 3 different modes here. There is the names of the modes are free play, classic, and timed, or something along those lines. Now, the timed has a timer that is constantly ticking down, and you have to collect, I think it's an hourglass to increase your time. The only difference between that and the endless mode is instead of the hourglass, you have a certain number of moves, and you collect boots to increase your moves. It effectively plays exactly the same way, with no other differences that I can tell. I have encountered about 5 different enemies in this game, and you will get so tired of fighting a goblin, like a little bit more buff, like fatter goblin, ogre, I guess, which is like a boss, is more HP. There's a mummy. I honestly can't remember any other. There may be 1 or 2 other enemies, and I can't remember what they are. And that's about it, man. I think I've told you all the tiles that you could possibly run into. Oh, and there's gold, of course, which is what your score is made up of. So you collect gold and whatever when you die, which, by the way, if you really put some thought into it, the only reason you would ever die in this game is if you are trying to go quick to beat the timer and you just accidentally bump into an enemy that has a higher power than you, because either maybe you just tried to do the math real quick and you didn't do the math well. See, that's what I would do. Or if you get, by your maneuvering, you get boxed into a corner by 2 enemies that are stronger than you, and so you can't move anywhere without dying. And so that's what has happened to me a couple of times. But other than that, if you sit there and think about it for a few seconds, there's really no reason for you to die, because there's almost always another space you can go into that won't kill you. And the game is not fun. I want to tell you about the best feature of this game. The best feature about this game is you can turn it off and go play something else that's going to be more fun than this. And that works just fine. I did try that last night. But when the best feature of the game is turning it off and playing something else, that's not good. This is the other thing. You say, well, for 5 cents, this is the other resource that you have to consider in this calculation. Because I always want to talk to you guys about what is the value that you get out of a game? How will you get the most value, the most bang for your buck? And you say, for 5 cents, man, I got to get a lot of bang for my buck. Here's the problem. The most valuable resource you have is not the money, but your time. So why would you invest even 20 minutes in playing this when you could go play something else that is infinitely more entertaining, and you won't be frustrated with yourself? You go back and look at the time that you spent playing this, be like, man, why did I even waste 5 minutes on this? Now, if you have listened this far into the review, probably to hear me rant about this horrible game, I apologize. I apologize that you invested that much time in this. However, I got a couple of things for you. First, I guess I should mention my score for this game, if it isn't obvious already, is 0 out of 10. I dabbled with the idea of giving it a 1 out of 10 because it's only cost 5 cents right now. But the reason why I didn't do that is because there is sort of this idea that publishers, the reason why they put these games 95% off or whatever crazy amount percent off in the eShop that this is because they want a bunch of crazy people like me to go out and download it, and then they're inevitably going to see that it's horrible. But those amount of downloads is enough to boost the game into like one of the higher sellers, or it makes it more visible on the eShop when they sell more copies. So then when it goes back up to the regular price of $5, $6, whatever, I think in this case it's $6, then some people will stumble upon it in the store and say, oh, wow, this is a bestseller, or what is this? Super Battle Cards. And it's on here. It's sold a bunch of copies or whatever. So honestly, the model here, and if anybody has any insight on this, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the model seems to be trick people in order to get money. And I'm not going to give 1 point out of 10 even for that. It's a 0 out of 10. Don't buy this game. Don't download. Do not support a company, Baltoro Games, who is doing practices like that. It's just horrible. This isn't even a card game. Don't call it Super Battle Cards. It's just awful. Anyway, if you stuck around this long, let me give you some good news. I don't want to be just so depressing about all of this. Here's some good news for you. I am playing another budget card game right now on the Switch that I am having some fun with. And so I will encourage you by saying stay tuned to my channel, and hopefully I'm no later than next week, hopefully, I'm going to have actually a few more reviews of some games for you guys that I'm actually having a great deal of fun with right now. So hope is not lost for these budget titles. You can apparently find some that are diamonds in the rough, but that's one of the things I want to do is just show you, man, this is definitely not one of those diamonds in the rough Super Battle Cards. But I am playing one that I have a lot of hope in right now, and I've had fun with it so far. So stick around next week, probably sometime. I'll tell you about what that game is and how much fun I'm having with it. Anyway, thank you guys if you sat and listened to all of that. Man, if I save you this amount of time from Super Battle Cards, then you're welcome. And no thanks is needed. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.